Rutgers, Wisconsin takes place tonight, Thursday night, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, airing live on FS1. Second to last regular season game for Rutgers. It's senior night in Madison for the Badgers, who are, I guess, considered safely in the NCAA tournament right now. They've lost, is it 6 of 8 games? Was it 7 of 9 they've lost? They were obviously, one of the best teams in the country the first 20 games of the season. And, yeah, they've lost 7 of 9. Still projected in at 18-11, 10-8. But this is certainly a crucial game for them because they also play on the road at Purdue on senior day on Sunday for the Boilermakers. So this is a big opportunity for Wisconsin. Rutgers has won their last 2 trips to Madison. They have beaten Wisconsin 3 of the last 4 meetings. We know that Rutgers dominated Wisconsin at the rack earlier this season. Jeremiah Williams was in the fold there. And I think the key in that game was the physicality of Rutgers. Yes, Rutgers was 10 of 17 from 3, shot very well. Wisconsin did not in that game. Wisconsin just shot 37.8% from 2 and 23.8% from 3. Rutgers was 40% from 2 and 58.8% from 3, 10 to 17. But the tone was set very early on in that game, and it was obviously Mawat Mag played in that game and was a big part of it just on both ends of the floor. He did have 12 points and 6 rebounds, 2 steals in 26 minutes in that game. But Cliff Omori really was just dominating inside. That was his 13-13-8 game, 8 blocks. Rutgers as a team had 8 steals and 9 blocks, forcing 12 Wisconsin turnovers. Wisconsin does not turn the ball over, and they are really good on the glass. But in that game, let's see, Rutgers, they had 10 offensive rebounds. Wisconsin had 12, but they were about even. Rutgers was +3 on the boards overall, so that was a big effort. But it was just in terms of Cliff really setting the tone. Rutgers playing really physical defensively, and it almost just seemed like Wisconsin was just not up for it. They did not engage. They kind of shut down mentally. It seemed like in certain parts of that game that they were not up for that type of game. So of course you're on the road. You have to defend without fouling. You don't have the rack as an advantage. But Rutgers should have confidence going into this game because they did play so well against Wisconsin the first time. Can't necessarily expect them to shoot as well from 3 in this game. And, Wisconsin doesn't turn the ball over a lot, and they're pretty good on the glass. Those are 2 areas where Rutgers has to succeed and have the edge to be able to win, I think, especially on the road in terms of just second chance points off of turnovers. Wisconsin's going to want it to be a slog. Rutgers actually is the team that plays better, in terms of transition. So can they, get out on rebounds or defensive rebounds or steals, blocks, what have you? Can they get up and down the floor and exploit Wisconsin a little bit? I think one thing that will be telling is the first 5 minutes is Cliff in terms of his how active he is, how aggressive he is, how much Rutgers looks to get him involved offensively. I really think this is a game I've been kind of not in favor of posting him up and, pounding the rock into him and, not trying to get him out in open space. But I think this is a game where Wisconsin, you kind of do want to establish a post a little bit. Steven Crowell's a good player, but I don't think he can contain Cliff. And, I think as long as it's Cliff's got to obviously have awareness, right, and look for open teammates. But I think they, between getting the ball to Cliff and attacking the rim, getting downhill, Jeremiah Williams, that's something that the physicality of that is something that will set the tone and send a message to Wisconsin. And, they're a veteran team. They're more athletic than in years past. AJ Storr is really good. Rutgers had trouble with him in the first half. He, was negated more in the second half. They're not, I wouldn't count on Mawat Mag tonight. I just wouldn't. I don't expect him back. And I think that, who's going to step up on the defensive end? I think, Andre Hyatt, he was so huge in that game at Wisconsin last year, filling in for Caleb McConnell, who was a late scratch, and he did a great job filling in, his rebounding in that game, his defensive presence inside. They need that from him tonight, and he's struggled from three lately. He's 2 of 17 from the floor, from 3-point range in, I think it's the last 5 games. So can he open it up a little bit? Can they get some 3-point shooting from the bench, with Noah Fernandez, Gavin Griffiths? Wisconsin gives up a lot of threes. That is one thing that they're, defensively, they're not very good with. Just pulling it up here, but I know that they are struggle against the three. Yeah, they allow opponents to shoot 37.1%. That's 344th nationally. They don't get any blocks, and they don't force a lot of turnovers. They're very good at keeping opponents off the offensive glass, 10th best in terms of defensive efficiency in offensive rebounding percentage on the for opponents. And in terms of offense, I mean, they, like I said, they do get blocked a lot, which is good for Cliff. But they don't turn it over at all. They're top 50 nationally. They're shooting 34% from three, 53% from two, 76% from the line. So this is a good shooting team. And Rutgers has to limit easy chances. I think, offensively to generate threes, that Wisconsin's going to allow that, right? And Wisconsin's going to pack it in. You can't, I think the awareness and the mindset of Derek Simpson in this game is big. Just don't settle for those 15-footers right off the bat. I think in terms of threes, they have to be rhythm threes. They can't just be, dribble down the court, one pass, shoot a three. It's going to be contested. They need to really move the Wisconsin defense, make them work, attack the lanes, driving lanes off of ball reversals. Because if you try to get downhill in Wisconsin without moving the ball, it's going to be much harder. And although they don't, they're pretty good in terms of 2-point defense. They don't have a huge, even Carl 7 foot. I mean, he's not imposing as a rim defender. Wisconsin, they're allowing opponents to shoot 50.7%, which is 200th nationally. So you can score inside on them. You can attack, but you can't do it just kind of like, pushing the a round peg into a square hole. You have to make them work. You have to spread them out. Spacing has to be better tonight. I thought on the road in Nebraska, their spacing was really bad. They just seemed out of sorts in terms of their offensive sets. And you just need to be a little bit more patient. I think, playing on senior day, there's going to be emotions there. And sometimes that works against teams too. It didn't against Nebraska, but, Rutgers, to their credit, did not quit. But like I said, as poor as they shot in that game, it was kind of a miracle they were as close as they were. And it's just, again, they cannot fall behind so much in the beginning. That is just an uphill battle that you can't win time after time, especially on the road. So can they get to the rim early? Can they hit some open threes? Can they get some spark offensively? Are they connected defensively right from the jump? All important things to watch for. Their starters, they haven't gotten enough production out of. JaMychal Davis, he's been good defensively. Can he give him a little bit of a spark? He had a really good run of assist to turnover ratio. It's been a little bit, slippage there. But, he's a guy that I think Wisconsin's going to struggle with his speed. And he's the guy that I look at that could have a big game tonight. And just in terms of bench production, right? You're not really going to win on the road without some bench production. We know Rutgers gets their threes from the bench. They're going to have to hit some threes. They're not going to need to go 10 to 17. I don't think it's fair to expect them to. But you got to hit some timely threes. You have to, produce some runs, and you can't let Wisconsin go on some, game-changing 12-2 run. This is a 40-minute game that Rutgers really has to battle it out, and I think that they are the tougher team. And I think if they show that tonight, they can win this game. I don't think this is a daunting game. I know they're 9.5-point underdogs. KenPom gives them not much of a chance. What does KenPom give them? It's like a 20% 19% chance they have them winning 70-61. So the last game, Rutgers obviously held Wisconsin at 56 points. I think the key, too, is just in terms of limiting A.J. Storr, not allowing him to get downhill, and also, going out on the shooters of Wisconsin. Of course, they have several guys that can make you pay in terms of 3 points. They don't shoot a ton, but, Max Clemson's a guy. Klesmit, he's shooting 38% on 128 attempts. He's their biggest threat. And then you have, that's really the biggest one. You do have A.J. Storr shoots 112 attempts, but just 30%. But he is much more of a threat in terms of attacking the rim. Jeremiah Williams is going to have to lead in the offensive attack, and I think if he can dictate things the way he did last time against Wisconsin, they're going to have trouble. So I'm optimistic tonight. I really am. I think this is a game they can win. It's not going to be easy. They have to play a complete game. They have to, be balanced in terms of their scoring and in terms of their defensive play. I think it's not just about turnovers. It's about putting pressure on Wisconsin, making them uncomfortable. This is a team that was not comfortable being uncomfortable against Rutgers the first time. And I think if you can do that again, body blows. It's not all just about steals. It's about ball pressure. It's about wearing them down a little bit, full court pressure at times, just making things as hard as possible on Wisconsin, preventing easy baskets. They can't let Wisconsin profit on the offensive glass. That'll be a killer. So I think that this is a team that, it isn't particularly scary from three. So you can make it really hard on them inside. And I think with Cliff, he's so important in this game. Obviously dominated Wisconsin the first time. If they get an engaged Cliff early, that's a really good sign. And I think, hopefully this team wants to redeem themselves. That was a frustrating performance against Nebraska. The season, there's not much time left. The urgency should be there. I expect a good performance on the road in Wisconsin. I'm not guaranteeing the win. That would be crazy, right? They're 9-point underdogs. But I do expect them to play well, and I do think they have a chance to win this game. I'll be back after with a rapid reaction following the game tonight against 7 p.m. FS1. See what happens.